When agriculture matured more and became industrialized and monocultured, then these hives were really easy to stack up on top of trucks, today on top of semis, and be driven all the way across the country to follow the bloom wherever it is. So in a monoculture agriculture environment, which is what we promote now, we have giant fields of one kind of a crop. And that way we can build machinery that can more effectively harvest and tend that one monoculture or monocrop. The trouble is that a bloom generally only happens for 2 weeks out of a year. So if the almonds are in bloom or the apple blossoming, it's only about 2 weeks that there are flowers. And for the rest of the year, while the apples are growing or the almonds are growing, it's a green desert. There's no food. And in these environments, we get rid of all the extraneous foods and all the extraneous plants. We have just one monoculture. So there's a problem that we can't just leave these beehives in these fields because they'll die of starvation because they only had food for 2 weeks out of all 52 weeks. So we truck them following the bloom from place to place as spring springs. Now, when we're in the city, we can put one of these in our backyard and we can let them find whatever it is around the city because we've got diversity. Here in our apiary, we've got a whole bunch of native plants that bloom all year long. In fact, we're late into the season now and we still have flowers ample enough for these to be able to find what they need. And the honey tastes completely different. It's seasonal and regional. The bees stay here and nature moves. So the flowers of spring are different than the flowers of summer, and the flowers of fall are different than those. So the honey tastes different from place to place. The only drawback to something like this is that these boxes, when they start getting full of honey, can weigh 60 to 80 pounds each. And they're filled with bees. So you can't just yank them off. You've got to lift them carefully. And when you start stacking them up pretty high, they can get pretty heavy and hard to work with. So the bees are agitated. The other thing that's interesting is if a bee only lives for 30 days in the summertime, for 20 of those 30 days, they're house bees. They're bees that are doing jobs inside of the hive, house cleaning or fanning the honey or storing or moving things around in the hive. It's only the last 10 days of their life that they start going out trying to look for food. So those bees don't know where the door is and don't know their way around. But if we go through and do a hive inspection where we need to open up these boxes to check on the status of the queen and the status of the colony, we're disrupting their house. We're tearing their house apart, floor and ceiling. So lots of bees are in the air, and most of the bees that get in the air are house bees. They haven't flown yet. They don't even know what's going on, so they're very disruptive. So this was something that I wanted to kind of deal with when I looked at the bee pod, was can we spread the colony sideways, and are there any advantages to just lifting walls up instead of tearing floor and ceiling apart? And there is. So when I'm sitting in a tight urban situation where I got houses on either side and kids playing in the neighborhood, it's not too smart to have 60,000 bees flying in the air pissed off. So if I can come up with another idea, maybe there's a choice that we want to make as to what kind of beekeeping do I want to do. Beekeeping for the bees, where I'm being gentle with them and not asking them, not demanding that they produce honey for me, or something like this. So if I'm a mead maker, or I'm selling at a market, I need production. So maybe this is the choice, and I'll just have to do the work. But if I'm just somebody saying I want to take care of hives, why should I pick one that's really hard to work?